This video is going to be called Why the Ego Gets a Rough Ride. Actually, it could also be part 2 to the other video I did, which was called There's More to One Reality. In regards to flow, the ego doesn't really allow for that. It gets in the way. He wants to see results now. It's not a patient due to its need to control everything. And it's got this thing about needing to know what something's about before it would even consider it. So, not being open enough, to the unknown, very guarded. And that's not how quantum existences work or even operate. You won't get to know if you're using an old mindset. And the ironic thing is that you already know. It's the ego that doesn't, it's the block. It's the limit. It's the obstruction, it's the barrier. So, if you're still functioning from the ego, you get to know once you let go of the need to know. Once you fully let go of everything and start trusting in yourself. Because what is it really about? It's about maintaining balance. If you're not still trusting in yourself and busy fighting, caught up in drama or whatever else, you're not giving yourself access to much. It's actually you that gives yourself access to everything. You are the universe. So if you've got, what's this thing? Protection mechanisms, you're closed off. You've got fear stuff, you're closed off. If your heart is closed, then that actually closes you off from experiencing those other expanded, greater dimensions. Only because you'll still be coming from a low vibrational frequency. A third and fourth dimensional level of consciousness. Where access is not made easy because of how you're dialed. Your head's too busy and full of stuff, processing a lot of things, preoccupied, so not being at the relevant vibrational frequency. Still feeding into the old matrix system, absorbed in that, keeping yourself from seeing what you need to see, based on what you've chosen to flood your consciousnesses with. Realities actually restructure themselves according to what you're constantly transmitting out, so everything is backwards where the ego is, and where your cosmic connections are, which is also your quantum existences. You don't be fixed with anything, because in the third and fourth dimensions, nothing is actually what it seems anyway. And those particular holographic realities are collapsing. And for those who keep asking me about what's going on externally, you already have the answers. You just focus on raising your own physical body's vibration. See where you're putting your own attention. Things that you're surrounding yourself with. What you're actually consuming. The things that you are also telling yourself. And the level of consciousness that you're actually having with others. You know, would it be to uplift and inspire, or would it be catering to an old mindset, an old way? You've got to observe what's going on within you. And anything that's out of alignment is going to be the things that are is keeping you or preventing you from bringing yourself back into balance, into unity. You know, if we're not coming from a space of love, peace, harmony, you know, in every way, in everything that we do, then we're still keeping ourselves entangled, you know, in the old unconscious stuff, you know, creating other types of not so great realities. So you got to really know what you're creating, and you'll only know or become aware of that when you're out of your head. You know, you won't get to know if your head's busy, you know, held up focusing, putting so much energy on those external things. You know, because it's the ego that likes to keep itself fixed to things. You know, busy entertaining itself, you know, stuff. But it's also being unconscious with things, so it won't know on a fully conscious level, you know, what it's doing. And there's so much to realities that even the ego is aware of. That we transmit out into the universe, or rather what we transmit out into the universe, what that does, it returns a vibrational match, so a vibrational response to what we're sending out. And if it's not highest aligned, so on a soul level, then we will be shown or faced with something that we need to look at, you know, ununified energy that we may be holding, you know, that needs our attention, because we would need to see why we are still coming from that angle of things, you know, why we're still continuing on from that angle with things, you know, why we're still unable to unify ourselves, why we're still unable to create balance within ourselves, you know, why we're unable to make a difference in shifting the energy. And if we're not making a difference, well, that's why we'll still be faced with the same type of realities, the same type of things. You know, and only showing ourselves, you know, what we're still caught up in. You know, for us to make a conscious choice. So, back to the reason for this video. I'll do the part 2 bit on that there's more than one reality. You know, someone was saying to me that they were getting pretty wound up in trying to explain some things to some family members. You know, in telling them they were wrong in how they see life. You know, still taking all those medicinal drugs, you know, being on all that medication. And they won't listen to reason. So the only other thing that I would like to add to that is, you know, it might not be an easy chore for family members or whoever to just drop everything and simply take on new information which doesn't fit into their own belief systems, and especially if they themselves have made themselves heavily reliant on the external system, you know, medicinal drugs and whatever else. And no information should be forced on anyone anyway, you know, just because they're not living ideally as you'd like, you know, because it'll be their choice, you know, and how they've chosen to live, chosen to experience life, and should really be respected. You know, if you choose to force family members to change, you know, what does that come from? It comes from the need to control, you know, the need to control other people's lives. So that's not empowering, is it? It's taking. You don't feel that you shouldn't share, but you've got to know where you're actually coming from. Or you could be just imposing on someone. So that's all I'll do for this video. And I will do some more videos soon. So it's just to really be open to everything new, approach things from a new space, letting go of the old ways that you used to do things. Every experience that the ego creates and calls for serves to show you whatever in yourself you're saying is true for you. So, alright, if for example there's anything that you're holding on to, or caught up in, or allowing yourself to be compromised, or whatever, it'll show up in your own reality just to get a response from you. So it'll be like, where are you going to come from in this moment type of thing. Are you going to use an old mindset, an old way? Or are you going to come from a new space? Have you learnt? Or do you still require more harsher lessons? You still holding on? You got any victim mentality going? See what the actual experience, what it represents to you in the way that you are now, not how you were. In some ways it's you testing yourself. Observe what emotions comes up within you and then choose. And then choose how you'd like to respond, and how you choose to respond is key. Because if you respond in the old way, using that same old mindset, then what you may be doing is calling for more of those types of realities, which become rougher. Each time, those are wake-up calls. But that energy needs to break, because it's not in alignment on a soul, cosmic, galactic level. Anyway, I'll do some more videos soon. Oh, thank you also to those who have chosen to subscribe. And I'll be back again soon.